And that really came true during COVID.
Yep.
We bounced ideas off of each other, and big restaurants that needed help. I hired some of their cooks because I needed cooks at the time. So we kind of helped each other through that unknown. It was a huge unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, I went into business in 2018 in October, and then 19 months later, we're being told we're going to be shut down.
Hi, this is Maelia Davis, and welcome to 713 Live. Today I have Andy Correa with me, the owner of Andy's Kitchen, Andy's Bar and Grill, and a catering company, We Wagon.
Yes,
so super excited. I've known Andy for about 14 years. He was actually one of the first people that I met when I moved to Houston.
Yeah.
And he's got such an amazing story, and we love going to the restaurant, not just because the food's fabulous, because I think Andy's super interesting, and I've got so many questions that I've never asked you, even though we talk all the time and I've known you for so long. So it's one of the reasons why I love the podcast. So welcome, Andy.
Thank you very much for having me.
So one thing people probably don't know is that you're from Uruguay.
I'm from South America, yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes.
So when did you leave Uruguay? Did you come straight to Houston?
Well, literally, I was born here in Houston.
Oh,
my parents
okay.
moved to Uruguay for a while. I went with them. So I was there very young. Until I was about 6 years old, and then we moved back.
And so, have you always lived in Houston?
I always lived in Cypress. Yeah, I was born and raised out here. Yeah.
Wow, in Cypress.
From elementary school all the way through high school.
So, as a little kid, what part of Cypress did you live in? Was it inside the
the Copperfield area?
Oh, Copperfield.
Yeah. So we lived out there for pretty much from elementary all the way through high school.
So, for people that don't know, Cypress, where Andy was born, is 5 miles from where we're sitting today, which is, I don't know anyone that is a Cypress native.
Well, and the thing is that helped communicate and build some of the relationships that I have today. I mean, I literally talked to my coaches from high school and middle school, teachers and things like that. So
that explains it. Every time I'm at his restaurant, he knows everybody. Obviously, as a fabulous, restaurant owner, you should know your clientele, but you know everyone that steps in that door.
It's more than just the restaurants. Building relationships. Our thing there is, you come in as a stranger, you leave family.
Yeah, it does feel that way. Okay, so when did you decide that you wanted to get into the restaurant business?
Well, I've always been in and out of the restaurant industry. My parents had their own restaurant growing up. I started working with families and friends that had restaurants when I was younger. So I literally started working when I was 12, 13 years old at a pizza place.
Wow.
And then I moved from there. I worked at several different restaurants. I managed restaurants on the weekends and things like that. My career full flesh from literally graduation from high school going into the restaurant industry, I was already in it. And then in 96, I started working for Cypress ISD, which I retired from in 2019.
Wow. Okay. So was there a point from you're 12 years old and you said, someday I'm going to own my own restaurant?
Exactly.
When did that happen?
Well, it's always been that even when I was a little kid, opening up that lemonade stand out in the corner of the street. I've always had
had a lemonade stand?
Yeah. Well, I always had that idea of being able to be an entrepreneur and do things on my own. It was just a matter of getting literally the ducks in a row to be able to get to where I'm at today.
So for those of you guys that don't know, you've been voted best burger in town for how many years?
9 years and running.
9 years in a row. I can attest to it being like the absolute best burger in town.
Yeah.
What do you think is your secret sauce? Not on the food. I'm talking about what makes you so successful, because you just expanded. You just doubled the space at Andy's Bar and Grill.
Yeah. Well, it's always been focused on what the customers want and what you could provide. And how you do that is because you listen to the word of the customer. You want them to have an experience, because there's so many options out there between fast food, other restaurants. Just in the neighborhood, when I opened my first restaurant, there was maybe 4 or 5 choices of burgers. Now there's 10 to 12.
Oh, yeah.
And how do you keep up with that, even though some of them have commercials on national TV every 30 seconds? It's hard to compete when you're the little guy. So how you do that is instilling in your employees, you have to have an experience when you come here as a customer. It's up to us to provide good food, good service, and make sure that your employees understand when the customers walk in the door, that's your priority. Making sure that you meet their needs, making sure the cooks understand every meal that goes out has to be spot on. It can't be, we'll do better next time.
Oh, it's always consistent.
Yeah, it has to be the same. You know, that's what makes corporate restaurants the same. You go to some restaurant chains, they're nationwide, and regardless of where you go, you get the same flavor profile.
I was just there this past weekend, saw you this past weekend, and the girl that walked us to our table, you would have thought she owned the place. She was like, we just expanded and it's so much bigger and we have a stage. And I was like, wow, you know, she could have been your daughter or something. She was so proud of the place. And it really does show how do you create that culture?
Well, I exposed them to what it took to get there. You know, it's not something that happened overnight. You know, I've been working on this for 30 plus years. What we did, the expansion, I don't get into exact detail of the cost, but I let them know. We've invested a lot of time, effort, money. So when you work here, be proud of working here. It may not be your forever job, but while you're here, I want you to take the same ownership that I take. So that bleeds into everybody and into our culture. And they do a good job of following that.
They really do. You feel like you're at home. It reminds me of that show, Cheers.
Yes.
Do you remember Cheers?
Everybody knows your name.
I know we're a little old. Some of you guys might not remember Cheers, but yeah, it does feel that way. You walk in and everybody says hi, and you know, and then you have the live music and all the games. It really does. It's a very unique experience compared to most of the restaurants that you go to around here.
And we try to make sure that it's up and coming people that sing. It's more. We do more than just one genre of music. Yeah. You know, we have a Latin night.
Salsa night. Yeah.
Yes. We have coming soon a comedy night that we haven't had yet. So we have an actual professional comedian coming in. He's doing his first national tour, and we've been blessed to be on that list.
That's awesome. When is that?
That'll be March 14th.
Okay, March 14th. Yeah. Okay, so do you cook at home?
I do.
Really?
I don't cook as much as I used to, but I've always had that knack of wanting to cook something different. What have you? Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving, get-togethers, 4th of July.
You do all the cooking.
I try to do as much cooking as I can because it's self-satisfying that when somebody tries your food for the first time, they're like, wow, you should open up a restaurant or what have you. This is back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And now that I'm there, I'm like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have cooked so much. Cause now I'm working 150 hours a week, but I'd rather work for myself at the pace that I'm going than working for somebody else. My grandfather taught me long ago that you can work to make your dreams come true, or you can help somebody else's dream come true by working for them.
That is a very good.
I guess the selfish side of me is like, I can do this for myself.
Yeah, and the other thing that I can personally attest to is hard work. Because I don't think there's a time I go that you're not there.
Yeah. I try my best to be there as much as I can. Sometimes that unbalances the quality of life or family time and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's a sacrifice that I'm doing, the front of it to try to get it to where it needs to be.
Yeah. But you have a wonderful wife, Christy, who I love so much.
Yeah, she does.
And I usually see her there too.
Yeah, she does a lot for the business. She does a lot for me. She's always there to support. That's one of the reasons why I actually watching a video from Steve Harvey that said jump, and you're not going to accomplish anything unless you jump into it and do it. Yeah. I was just strolling through my phone one day and that video popped up and I was like, I think that's a message.
It's a sign.
Yeah. And so I told my wife, ready or not, I'm jumping. She was there from day one, supporting me and making sure that we are where we are today.
You told me that you got a lot of your early training in the restaurant business at Denny's. Was it Denny's?
Well, I worked at Denny's. I worked at Ninfa's. I worked at so many different restaurants. And I'm proud to say that every location or every job that I've ever had, I've always left with the understanding that I can come back anytime.
Yeah.
When I worked at a neighborhood restaurant, which is like 3 doors down from the restaurant that I have now.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of people assume that the way I interacted with my customers and worked and did things, he must be one of the owners.
I thought you were an owner.
Yeah, and so that's what I instill in my employees. I said, look, I was once in your position. I was a server, and they thought that I was part of the family that owned the restaurant. So I've always talked about that. When I bartended, I took ownership of what I was doing. Yeah. I didn't leave something for tomorrow. I always took care of what I could then. And so that's one of the things of the culture. It makes it easier because you can lead by example. Yeah. And a lot of people know my history, my story, how I got to where I'm at. And so it's all about making sure that when you go into something, go in with it to win.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why before I got into the restaurant industry, I used to do a lot of competitive barbecuing and things like that. And we took a lot of rewards and a lot of trophies and things like that I still have at the house. It's kind of like when you're a kid, right? You got all your Little League baseball
trophies. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're boxed up now, obviously, but before it was something I was proud of. You know, you got all this, you know, you got cook teams that have professional cooks and this and that. And I used to go in there just me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
And was able
the smoker.
to yeah.
You have an amazing smoker that on a trailer that you take. We've actually had it here at our office.
Yeah. So it's just those little things, and that's kind of how it evolved. I had all this cooking equipment from my catering and from my cooking team and stuff like that. And I was like, one day I was like, I'm gonna start barbecuing on the weekends and selling food outside the road, and that's where it started. And that's one of the reasons why we have the Wee Wagon catering services, because we started cooking on the Wee Wagon because our team was called Wee Wagon Smoking. And one of my friends,
I always wondered that.
One of my friends helped me build that, and you know, we're sit around and talking, and we should do this and we should do that, and it's like, you know, man, I'm the one welding everything together, and you're weeing me to death. So that's where that name came from.
The Wee Wagon.
Yeah.
Well, you also cater to almost all the schools in the school district.
Yeah, we try to adopt schools. We try to help nonprofit organizations and things like that. We donate a lot of our time and our food because it's better than running an ad on TV, in my opinion, or doing something, a coupon on, you know, in a magazine or things like that. You're letting people know who you are, you're helping people, and you're part of the community. And that's a strong foundation to have when you have a business where you're recognized through the community that you do what you do for a reason.
One of the other things that I love about your places is that you're very Houston proud.
Yes.
So you've got your little your Oilers cap, and you've got jerseys. You know, you've got Texans. You've got everybody. What do you think? I know Houston offers a lot. Yeah. What is it that makes you so proud of Houston?
The diversity and the things that the city brings. There's a lot of families that are here for medical reasons, because we have the medical center. There's people that are here because of, you know, all the different. It's a melting pot.
It is.
You know, you got oil and gas, you have real estate, you have properties, you have this and that, and you have all these things that are options that, as long as you take it and run with it, there's so many options and opportunities. And then you still have, like in Cypress, it's the biggest town with a small feel.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, people know you, especially in the area that we're in. It's just natural. And you don't see that in many cities or towns. So I'm just proud of being a part of a community that supports us, and we obviously try to support them. And it goes since I was a little kid. I've always been competitive. Sports has always been in my blood. So fighting for your team or rooting for your team, and I take that up to the next step.
Yeah. Who are you going to root for the World Cup?
Well, Uruguay all the way. My second team is USA, obviously, but Uruguay all the way. We're going to have watch parties, and we plan on doing it big. That's one of the reasons why I made it bigger and bought more TVs in.
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew that being in the United States, it was going to be a big deal.
It's going to be huge. We had World Cup parties at the last World Cup for our office and all of our clients. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. So in Houston, you being in the restaurant business, when you decide that you're going to go out to eat, how do you choose?
Well, and I look for the same kind of atmosphere, you know, a locally owned type restaurant, and it's crazy because out here in Cypress, you know, I know a lot of the restaurant owners, and we get along not like competitors, but co-workers, basically. You know,
I've heard that.
When you go out and you work for a company or whatever, and you go out with your friends and family, you have co-workers that you build relationships with. Well, I'm a restaurant owner, and I get along with other restaurant owners the same way. We help each other, ideas. Hey, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen that?
Yeah.
And that really came true during COVID.
Yeah.
We bounced ideas off of each other, and big restaurants that needed help. I hired some of their cooks because I needed cooks at the time. So we kind of helped each other through that unknown. It was a huge unknown. Yeah. I mean, I went into business in 2018 in October, and then 19 months later, we're being told we're going to be shut down, not knowing what that meant.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember clear as day, it was on a Monday that they announced no more public going into a restaurant and having dinner. So does that mean we're going out of business? Does that mean we're closing down? Can we order supplies? Should I order supplies? And when they said it was going to be contactless delivery only, we just took that and ran with it. And it was a blessing.
Yeah, it really was. And I've heard this. I have several friends that own businesses, restaurants here, and they all mention you.
Yeah.
They say that, oh, I talked to Andy and he said this and that. And there you do share the wealth of information and the experience, which I think is another reason why you're so successful. If you had to talk to Andy 20 years ago, what words of advice would you give Andy?
Don't open a restaurant. No, just joking. No, it would have probably been, I should have started back then.
Sooner.
Yeah. But always with the thought, kids growing up, family, I needed to make sure that, the bills were paid and things like that. I didn't have the financial backing to do what I did. And so I partnered up with people. I did a lot of things. It taught me lessons on how to look for something on your own.
Yeah.
Because then you're the only opinion and you sink or fall on your own terms versus somebody else's ideas that didn't work.
I was just talking to a friend of mine about the entrepreneurial spirit and the people that are entrepreneurs versus people who are engineers and they have like a 9 to, very few successful people work 9 to 5, but somebody else is responsible for paying the electric bill and making sure the lights go on, right? So that entrepreneurial spirit, could you see yourself ever working for somebody else?
Well, I guess I could do that, but the thing it'd be my nature.
Yeah.
To work as if it was mine.
Yeah.
Not because I'm trying to take ownership, but just the pride in whatever you do.
Just who you are. Yeah.
It's just the meaningful knowing that you're doing everything you can in your power to make sure you make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's whether it's for yourself or for a coworker or for a friend or what have you. I got friendships that are 40 years long.
Yeah.
And how you do that is by building a relationship that they know they can count on you. You have friends that if you're coming back or going on a road trip and you break down 100 miles away from here at 3 o'clock in the morning, who do you call?
Yeah, who's going to show up?
And 90% of my friends know I can call Andy because that's just the way it is. And
you would show up.
I can call them as well.
Yeah.
It's just that type of relationship bleeds into how I operate my business.
How do you, and I'm assuming you do speak Spanish.
Yeah.
How have you maintained your Spanish language growing up in Northwest Houston?
Well, the thing is with my parents, they instilled that in me. I actually had kindergarten through first grade ESL. I'd learned English in school.
That's it. Yeah.
So my first language was Spanish. And that was something that they instilled in me, not knowing that it was going to be such a huge impact growing up. A lot of people, Spanish, and it's not because I hide it. It's because when you're speaking in English, it's just natural, and very seldom, unless somebody else comes in and starts talking to me in Spanish, and it wows them that you can speak Spanish just as fluently as you can English
with no accent.
Both languages. Now our dialect in Uruguay is a little bit different, more Castilian. So when I'm around the people that speak with that accent, I kind of pick up on it and I express myself different ways, the way you say certain things and the way you roll your R's and do things like that. So and they're like, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah, where are you from? Do you think that your being from Uruguay influences any of the food items and the way you cook?
Yeah, and I had to adapt a little bit more like when I opened up my Andy's Kitchen, we did homemade empanadas. We have a burger, it's laudu. It's similar to a sandwich that's native to Uruguay. That's got eggs and a fried egg, bacon, ham, so it's a big burger. Hence the name of it is called laudu. Similar to a restaurant sandwich that we used to eat growing up.
Nice. I haven't tried that one.
Yeah.
But you have the Cuban.
Yes, the Cuban milk. That's a play off of a Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
Of course, when a Cuban comes in and eats it, like that's nothing like a Cuban sandwich. But it's the throwback of having pulled pork, ham, mustard, and pickles.
It's very good.
Kind of like a hoagie sandwich is the only difference.
Right.
It's not in a baguette like the Cuban sandwich is panini pressed.
Yeah.
So we have the ability of making it exactly the same, but we wanted to make it with a twist and have it be our own.
What's next for Andy? What's coming up?
We're trying to maybe expand our line. We have another restaurant in the drawings phase right now. We pulled the trigger and have agreed to be a part of a new sports complex that's coming out. And then we also are rethinking of Andy's Kitchen being remapped into something else, a different concept. For the reason that we have indirectly pulled our customers from the kitchen to the bar and grill.
Yeah.
There's more to offer at the bar and grill. There's more space. There's things that kids can do. Kids eat free on Monday and Tuesday, those type of things. And the reason why we do that at the bar is because we want to make sure that it's a family oriented. Yeah. It's not a bar with a restaurant. It's a restaurant with a bar. And we make sure that people know that as long as you're good with it, we don't have a 21 and up rule. It is bar-ish at night on Friday and Saturday. As long as the parents understand that, we're willing to have them there, and the parents know that they're there to have a good time. So it's not unusual on a Friday night to have a 12 or 14-year-old singing a song for karaoke night.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's going to be.
It's family. It's definitely family.
And I get a lot of people indirectly get upset with that, but hey, there's plenty of choices out there, and I'm going to stick to what's made me successful and being family oriented. I used to have a restaurant that I was a partner at the beginning of 2012 and 13 called Roosters.
Yeah.
And that was a family oriented place. Kids would run around outside on the field.
You played golf.
Yeah, it was a driving range.
Driving range.
So it was Top Golf before Top Golf.
Yeah,
we joked around.
It was Cypress Top Golf.
Yeah, and since it was on the ground, we called it Low Golf instead of Top Golf. But that was a situation where kids and family grew up. As a matter of fact, building relationships with your customers, what I was telling them about. It's not different or weird for me to cater on my catering side, where I did their first or second birthday as a catering, and now after doing their graduation party, they call me and say, "Hey, Mr. Andy, I'm getting married." Yeah. So there's been several occasions where I've done weddings for people that I did their first graduation and their first birthday party and their baptism and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So that's how long we've been around doing that.
You are an institution in Cypress.
I started doing my catering on the side in '97, and we have never stopped. So it's been some years.
Yeah, I don't know when you sleep, because it seems like everywhere I go, Andy's there. Well, every party.
My theory on that is I'm going to get plenty of rest when I stop.
When the time comes.
When the time comes,
yeah.
And I know some people question that or challenge that. It's like, oh, you shouldn't work yourself to death like that. It's natural. It doesn't.
You can't stop.
I work 19, 20-hour days sometimes because I had a catering in the morning or I had to go pick up supplies or whatever. And next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. the day after.
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't feel like, oh my God, I'm working so many hours. It's natural. I enjoy it. I think that's what makes it easier. It's not going to work. It's going to.
You enjoy it. Well, and it's yours. One last question. What advice would you give to, there's so many people that are doing food trucks that are trying to get into the restaurant business, and it's so competitive as you mentioned. What advice would you give somebody like that that's saying, well, I can do what Andy's doing. Let me try.
Yeah. And I've had friends that tried it, and it's not that it's hard. It's just an uphill battle at the beginning, and you just need to stay focused and understand negative or positive complaints or constructive criticism. Open up to it. It doesn't have to be your way 100% all the time when it comes to recipes and things like that. Customer input, family input, whoever is giving you advice. And if it doesn't make sense because it's not, just understand it for what it's worth and stay focused. And don't let turmoil or things that are going to get in your way stop you. Like I said, 19 months in the business, thinking everything was going great. And on a Monday, you were told that your business pretty much is going to shut down. How do you react to that?
Yeah, what do
you do? A lot of people fold and just walk away from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this business is where, I'm not sure exactly what the percentage is, but it's against you versus being with you.
It's a huge failure rate.
Yeah, I think they say that 1 out of 10 restaurants succeed in the first 4 years. On the 5th year, I think it's 2 out of 6 restaurants make it. So the odds are against you.
Yeah.
And it's what you make out of it, and just keep pushing. Focus on what you want to do. Just make sure you put your heart into it.
Yeah.
Our theory at the small restaurant, Andy's Kitchen, it's a small kitchen with a big heart.
Yeah.
And it's something that came from a customer, not from me. You know, they said even though your place is so small, there's so many people that walk through here.
Yeah.
So it's success is what you make out of it. It's what you put into it, and then you get your output. You may not get the output that you want at the very beginning, or you might get more than what you thought it would be. It's just about staying grounded and focused on what you want to do.
You've got a great recipe for success because you're genuine.
Yeah,
In all the years I've known you,
Yeah.
you're Andy.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Yeah.
arrogance ever.
Yeah.
You know, you are a friend to so many people, but the quality of your food and the place, and it's clean and everybody's friendly. You really have hit it out of the park. You really have. I'm so proud of you. I have
you.
nothing to do with your success, but boy,
Actually, you do.
I
a lot
love-
of people that
yeah.
have always been there for me. I remember you and your husband coming in to the restaurant, and man, he drank a lot of tea, and I would tell my employees, bring them 2 glasses of tea. You know, it's just how you adapt to conquer what's at hand.
Yeah.
And now it went from that to actually a friendship.
Yeah.
I consider you all family.
Yeah.
We've known each other and that's repeated so many times in my life that it's like, I'm proud to be part of the community. I'm proud to be friends with who I have and family who I have.
Yeah.
Because it makes it so much easier.
It really does. I love your success story. I know there's so much more coming, and I thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
On our little podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
And Andy has a podcast as well. It's
Yes.
Fork and Founders.
Forks and Founders, yeah.
Forks and Founders, so look for him too.
We go around and interview other people that have restaurants and who, what, and why they're there and what they're doing to be successful. It's just a matter of being able to expose other people for what their success is.
In his spare time, he does
Yeah.
the podcast. Okay, thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching 713 Live. Make sure you subscribe, leave comments, and if you know someone with a wonderful success story like Andy that's making a difference in Houston that just stands out, and a friend, anybody that you know that you think would make a great story for 713 Live, please leave me a message and I'll get in touch with them, and who knows, maybe we'll get to talk to them. Thank you.